We are joined by a man who just had a heck of a week last week. Jared Leto from 30 Seconds to Mars. How are you?
I'm pretty good, man. Thanks for having me.
Tell us about everything that happened last week. You went across America.
We did. It was a crazy dash across the country. We started in New York City, ended in Los Angeles, and went to, my God, so many places, met so many amazing people, heard so many inspiring stories, and it was really absolutely unforgettable.
It's certainly been your prep kind of leading up to the release of this album, going across America and taking in different stories from different types of people in different areas and kind of filtering that all through these songs and this music. Anything particularly stick out? Any area, any story for you, or is it just the whole thing?
Well, I think a few days ago we were in Navajo Nation, and that was a real privilege to spend time there and to learn a little bit more, to see the beauty of the environment, and the people were really just incredible. They have so much to offer, and really it was just a beautiful part of the trip. So, but I think everywhere we went, we heard really personal stories. That was probably the most interesting part of it, were just the personal human stories that people shared.
Are you surprised about how much people open up to you?
I shouldn't be, because I do so much work focused on, I do a lot of documentary film work, and we're always turning the cameras on the 30 Seconds to Mars audience. So, but everyone has a story to tell. Everyone has had challenges. Everyone's overcome adversity, and people have so much to share and to offer. It's always inspiring to be on the receiving end of those stories. Yeah.
Well, speaking of documentaries, this album that came out on Friday seems like part of what is just an overall giant art project for you, part of which is also a documentary called 24 Hours in the Life of America. Mm-hmm. And for people who don't know, last 4th of July, the band had people send in clips of parts of their days, and now you are turning that into a feature film.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's great. We've filmed all over the country, in every single state, Puerto Rico and D.C. in 24 hours, and we made a portrait of the United States of America in what I think is a really interesting time, to say the least. And it's absolutely incredible, the footage that we got back, and we're excited about it. I hope it'll come out this 4th of July. And the music, the album, is the soundtrack for the film.
Awesome. We've already seen a little piece of the film with the music video for Walk on Water. What have you learned about America in this time, in these last couple of months?
I think I've learned that we all have so much in common, and I've been reminded of that. I should say we have much more in common than we do differences. And if you turn on the news or the media, certainly there's a lot of conflict out there. But I see people that have dreams, people that want to live in a country where they feel safe and their children are safe. I see people that want to build a better place for their kids in the future. But it's an inspiring time to make music, to put music out. This trip was great to take across the country. We visited a lot of cities and states that we'll be playing shows at on the tour that's coming up, the Monolith Tour. We're actually on tour right now. I'm really not here right now. I'm in Europe, and we have been warming up, I guess, for the U.S. tour, but the shows in Europe have been the best shows of our lives.
Yeah, 30 Seconds to Mars playing arenas across the U.S. throughout the summer. This is a band never short of good ideas and never short on bold ambitions. Can you give us any sort of preview of what we can see during the shows this summer?
It's going to be a night not to miss. I mean, in L.A. we're playing the Forum, and we've always wanted to play the Forum, so we can, check that one off the list this July. But it's the shows have been just filled with energy and fun and spontaneity, and we have a production idea that I've been working on for 10 years that we finally managed to pull off somehow. So we'll be bringing that all across America as well. We have an incredible lineup Walk the Moon and K-Flay and Welshly Arms and Joywave. And we wanted it to feel like a mini festival that's coming through town night after night. And I'm excited to get on tour in the U.S. for June and July and sweat our asses off and have unforgettable experiences.
With that in mind, and the creativity, and again the just very ambitious nature of the band, do you feel like 30 Seconds to Mars gets a fair shake? Do you feel like people recognize the effort fairly, what this band does? Because from those live performances at 30 Seconds to Mars shows, from putting on your own camp, from even relatively simple things like performing on daytime talk shows, every time I feel like 30 Seconds to Mars comes with a brand new idea and they're trying something new. And I was wondering if you feel like you guys get enough credit for that.
Well, I mean, I appreciate what you said. I feel like we're really fortunate. I feel like my brother and I are acutely aware of how lucky we are. So that's where my head is at. I think, when I'm on stage at these giant sold out shows and, people are screaming these songs back at us, I turn to my brother every night and I just have this feeling of gratitude. I'm looking at him, we're looking at the audience, and we just can't believe it. So, I mean, I think the story has kind of righted itself in a lot of ways, and I do feel like we get a pretty fair shake these days.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning was probably had its own unique set of challenges, but I also think every band has their own, every artist has their own challenges, and we had ours. But yeah, I feel like we get a pretty fair shake.
Musically, on this new album, what were you trying to do? If anything, was there a specific goal in mind, or were you just working on the songs and they came out the way that they came out?
Probably the latter, mostly. Yeah. I think you just listen. You tune in and listen. You follow your gut, your heart, and your head, and you make music that you're interested in, and you hope that other people will be interested in. I think for 30 Seconds to Mars, part of the equation is how will these songs translate live? That's really important to us because we spend a lot of our life on the road. Mm-hmm. And that's probably, I would say, the most important part of the process. So, I'm proud of the record, of the album. I love it.
Every show's different, and I'm sure there'll be surprises along the way. Any plans to perform with any of the guests that are on the album? There's A$AP Rocky, there's Halsey. Yeah. Obviously, Zed helped out with the track.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. And I talked to A$AP in New York. Maybe we'll manage to, if schedules align, maybe we'll get him at Madison Square Garden or the Forum. But they're incredible artists, and we would love to share the stage with all of them, with Halsey, with A$AP, with Zed. We've been inviting people on this tour. Most nights on the tour, we have a guest, a local from whatever country we're in, come out and either do the part that Travis Scott did on Walk on Water at the MTV Awards, or sing Dangerous Night with me as a duet.
Cool.
So we've been doing that every night all over the country. It's been really fun.
All
over the world, sorry.
That question was really just an excuse to ask when the 30 Seconds to Mars Cardi B collaboration is going to happen. Are you going to get pregnant Cardi B? Yeah?
We got close. The world doesn't know this, but we were very close to doing something together for this album.
I think we'd be okay with that.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
I think that'd be just fine. The album covers are, again, another one of these 30 Seconds to Mars big ideas, something that you have not seen ever, or if you have, it has not been very frequently. Again, just a very creative way to approach something that could be humdrum normal for another band. Can you kind of explain the concept behind all of the different album covers and what you guys wanted to do with all of the words?
Well, rather than having one image represent the album, we went with this idea of creating lists, and we've created hundreds of them. Individual kind of bizarre, funny, provocative lists that together in some way create a time capsule and represent our culture. One list may be the ingredients for apple pie. Another list could be, the top 10 highest grossing prescription drugs, or, sex positions, or whatever, most searched words in porn, platforms. So just something that kind of, if you buried and dug up 20 years from now, you get a sense of who and what we are in some ways.
When you look at those words and you look at those lists, are you happy? Are you proud? Are you a little wary about where our country is?
A little bit of all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the billboards on Sunset, speaks to violence, gun violence specifically. Another speaks to political issues. Another social, and some are just funny or fun. Including the one that says cowgirl, doggy, face, scissors, the crab.
Yeah, what are those again?
Those are sexual positions.
No, I know. Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Maybe you could do a little animation for each of them.
Sure.
But those are the, I don't know, some list of positions.
Is there a list right now that's most pertinent to you when you look at it? I mean, just one that, like, on this day right now means the most to you?
I mean, I made quite a few of the lists myself,
Okay.
and but things like AI, Bitcoin, fake news, Russia, I think are interesting because in 20 years you'll know exactly what time period we're in if you looked at that, or in 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know that this was that represented this specific period of time.
Is it fair to say that as much as this album is about America, and it's all not just a love letter to America, there is some criticism, I think, of America as well. It's not a political album, or is it?
No,
Do you need it to be?
I mean, it's not overtly a political or protest album. It's social, it's emotional, it's highly personal as well. I'm an American living in America. So is my brother. I mean, he wrote a really heartbreakingly beautiful, vulnerable song called Remedy that's people are loving, and he sings it as well. But I mean, songs like Walk on Water speak to the times that we're living in. Great Wide Open, Live Like a Dream, Hail to the Victor. So there's that side of it, but it's not too obvious.
You were very supportive and vocal of the March for Our Lives when it happened a couple of weeks ago. Why does that specific issue, or do those specific kids kind of speak to you and resonate with you the way that they do?
Well, I mean, I think kids are here to teach us, and it's important to listen.
Mm-hmm.
There are lots of young people that have answers, that have so much to offer, and I think it's historic what we've seen. There's been a movement of people that have said enough is enough. We want to change, and in a democracy, that's you debate, you discuss, and you move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an important part of the process, the political process, and I think we should encourage that in any way, people making their voices heard.
Mm-hmm. Like we said earlier in the interview, this album, which is out now, the new 30 Seconds to Mars, is part of a greater art project, really kind of taking a look at the snapshot of America. There's going to be a documentary that comes out. There's a tour happening this summer. And 30 Seconds to Mars, never short on very ambitious, very bold ideas. And we're excited to be living in a world where you guys are presenting us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next album I'm just going to make in Hawaii and sit on the beach the entire time.
I don't hate you for that, man. I think that's a great idea. Maybe Cardi B will be involved. Maybe she won't.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
TBD.
Yeah.
It is Jared Leto from 30 Seconds to Mars. All right.